Hello, and welcome to this video about the aftermath of a nuclear war. We often hear about the devastating power of nuclear weapons, but what would happen if they were actually used in a large-scale conflict between nations? How would the world look like after the smoke clears? In this video, we will explore some of the likely scenarios and impacts of a nuclear war, based on scientific studies and historical events. Please note that some of the content may be disturbing or graphic, and viewer discretion is advised. Part 1. The immediate effects. The first thing to understand about a nuclear war is that it would cause almost instant destruction and death on a massive scale. Depending on the size and number of the bombs used, millions of people could be killed or injured within minutes, either by the blast itself, the intense heat and fire, or the radiation exposure. Cities and infrastructure would be turned into rubble, communication and transportation systems would be disrupted, and the environment would be contaminated with radioactive fallout. This would create chaos, panic, and a humanitarian crisis that would be difficult to manage even for the most prepared countries. In short, a nuclear war would be a catastrophic event that would change the world as we know it forever. Part 2. The long-term effects, but the damage and suffering would not end there. Even if the initial nuclear exchange was limited, the residual effects would continue to pose serious threats to human health, safety, and survival. Nuclear winter, for example, is a phenomenon that could occur if enough dust and soot from the explosions rise into the upper atmosphere and block sunlight from reaching the Earth's surface. This would lead to a significant cooling of the planet, reduced agricultural output, and even famine in some regions. Another consequence of a nuclear war would be the loss of biodiversity, as many species would not be able to adapt to the new conditions or the radiation exposure. This could have ripple effects on the entire ecosystem, including human food sources and natural resources. Part 3. The geopolitical implications. In addition to the physical and environmental consequences, a nuclear war would also have profound political, economic, and social impacts. The global order would be disrupted, alliances and treaties would be broken, and trust and cooperation among nations would be severely undermined. The arms race would likely escalate, as countries seek to rebuild their arsenals or develop new technologies to counter the perceived threats. International law and norms would be challenged, and the use of force could become more acceptable or normalized. This could lead to more conflicts and instability, or even to a new world war. Moreover, the psychological effects of living in a post-nuclear world could be devastating, as people would have to cope with the trauma and loss of loved ones, as well as the uncertainty and fear of a possible repeat of the disaster. Conclusion. In conclusion, a nuclear war is not a hypothetical scenario or a distant possibility, but a real danger that we must face and prevent. It is up to all of us to demand disarmament, dialogue, and diplomacy as the means to resolve conflicts and ensure global security. We must also educate ourselves and others about the risks and consequences of a nuclear war, and work towards building a culture of peace and cooperation. Thank you for watching this video, and please share it with your friends and family to raise awareness about this critical issue. Subscribe.